Now he's facing now the death penalty phase in the Julio Julian Folio trial. At the end of the day, this is what you guys. One thing about it, two things. This is what you guys. This is what y'all guys live for. This is what y'all guys going crashing out, going hard, and then you go on social media, and then you pretty much get yourself in trouble by going on social media, telling what you did. And I had to go hard for my homie. Your homie is gone. This man, your friend is gone. Now, this is some of the guys at the bottom. Let me go up here. Now, right now, they're in the death penalty phase right now. This is what they're going through right now. This is day one. He's taking a stand. And once again, y'all guys got to start thinking before y'all react. Y'all in y'all 20s, and this guy's only 20 years old. He did all this when he was 18 years old. And it looked like he should be going on a job interview, graduation, or going to something prestigious. But and then he's fighting for his life. Now he's in the phase. They don't want to know if he's going to get the death penalty or get a life in jail. Either way, his life is done. But anyway, we're going to get right to this video. So make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell what you think. And that's real talk.
How old were you when you were arrested?
I was 18 years old.
18 years old. He was 18 years old.
Right.
18 years old when he did this. 20 years old. And he's facing death already.
So, I've gotten into programs. I've also, I grew up, in church and, in a Christian household. So I refocused my, life to Christ, and, I've taken a lot of religious programs. I've read the Bible from cover to cover. I've tried to, share some word, and we have prayer circles in the jail and stuff like that. I've done a couple, prayer circles, and I've tried to, kids around my age or younger, since I'm 20 years old now. When you turn 18, you go to the adult pods and stuff like that. So if I see somebody who I see, has a lot of potential and has a chance to keep them from, basically being able to be corrected at this opportunity and not come back, I try to take them under my wing. As you see, I have a lot of resources and a lot of family that love me, and they've even, asked me like, hey, is there anybody in there who doesn't have somebody like that who, could we send them some money, like, anything like that. So I've tried to, be a vessel for God to pour over my blessings into those around me.
We heard from Mr. Bernasco, who said that in prison that there is opportunities at times to be a mentor or do orientations and peer-to-peer things like that. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
Of course, I definitely want to, try my absolute best to course correct anybody from falling down a path that they don't have to take, especially the youth. I feel like that's my calling that God has put on my heart to, be a mentor to the youth and be a positive influence in this world.
But see, they're only talking about God and all this now. But they didn't think about this when they took the life of another young black man.
What about those relationships? Like you said, you have a lot of people. Are you able to maintain those relationships now?
Yeah, so, everybody who I, maintain a relationship with wasn't able to all be here today or, even testify. But, I talk to them daily, weekly, bi-weekly. I cherish my supporters very deeply, and I want to maintain a relationship with them for the rest of my life.
And I know, we're not going to talk about the case itself, right? But you said that you were taking accountability, you felt remorseful. Tell us what you mean by that and what statement you want to make.
Listen.
To the victim's family, I want to send my deepest condolences, and I understand that it's hard losing a child, a best friend, a brother, a cousin, and for that I just cannot say sorry enough. I feel terrible about the situation, but I'm a firm believer that God can use anything for good that the devil wants it for bad, and so I am grateful for the people I've met, for the lessons I've learned, for just this experience in general, because it's one that I'll never forget, and it's shape the rest of my life.
Sounds like there's that saying that's kind of cheesy, but you make lemons out of lemonade or whatever.
Lemonade out of lemons.
Somehow, I obviously don't make lemonade, but it sounds to me like you are going to try and make the best of a bad situation. Does that sound about right?
Of course.
And
See how mature he sound
Of
now
course, I'm gonna
from 18.
try to,
But sometimes it's certain things that you can say and do in life that you just can't call back. Yeah, he looked at all that pretty waves and all that went to waste now.
yourself and heard about some courses and programs and things that you can get involved with to stay busy in prison. Is that something that you plan to do?
Yeah, so hearing Raul's testimony was, the first glimpse that I have of, what prison it could be like. I want to stay as busy as possible, stay away from bad apples. I want to keep a job, get in the program, try to get into any vocational things I can do, try to, keep my record clean to, go to the less incentivized things and have visits with my family. And, I just want to just stay out the way, just want to make everything, peaceful as convenient.
Even knowing that you're not getting out of prison, you want to make the best of your stay there?
Of course. I mean, who wouldn't? If you're going to be somewhere for the rest of your life, why would you make your life a living hell?
And you're young, right? You're 20?
Yes, ma'am.
You want me a moment? Yes. I'll pass the witness. Okay.
You would agree with me that Charles Jones was young too, wasn't he?
Relatively young, yes, sir.
26, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what the evidence showed us, correct? You were sitting here watching that, correct? The evidence that came in over the last several weeks?
I was right there.
Yeah. And you want to take accountability now, correct? You want to take accountability now that this jury has found you guilty, correct?
Yes, sir.
Weeks after we went through a trial. Is that your testimony?
This is standing objection.
You indicated this was a traumatic experience. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's what you just testified to, correct?
That's what I said.
And the craziest thing about this young man right here, his mother in court crying. He literally used his own mother's car in the crime. Make it make sense, people. If you're going to do something, you don't use your own car. Steal a car or something. But to use your own mother's car, and then when it came to the house, you got the weapon still in the house. Like they legal. Make it make sense. Now you want to talk about God. You want to take responsibilities down because they found you guilty. That's the guy right there that he deleted right there. That's the rapper.
He was also really young when this happened, wasn't he?
See?
I didn't know how old he was.
Early 20s, 22.
22 years old. That's the guy right there they deleted.
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Gino North, who's not a gang member, who's Charles Jones' friend from the time they're children.
That's the legal basis. Okay. Come on up, counsel.
See, they're trying to say he was young when you took him out. Man, you faced the death penalty. You can be young when you going out. Make it make sense. Now they done read the Bible from front to back. A lot of people, when you go to jail, you're gonna read the Bible from front to back too. Because you in that cell by yourself, you ain't got nothing else to do but read. If you can read, so make it make sense. I say go back like the Bible said before, eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. What y'all think? Somebody answer comments. What y'all think about that situation? Make it make sense, people.
6C, Xavier Edwards. And 5C, Jalen Norris. And you saw the autopsy photos of Charles Jones. My question to you is, after you and your friends inflicted that carnage on June 23rd, and as you were running States 2059C, this is actually you running to shoot them, but when you were running back past that Tesla. Wow.
Our new oven toasted sandwiches just joined the Papa Pairings menu for $6.99 each. That's right. Get
The question is, right?
Favorites for $6.99.
The question is, should the court have just as much passion that he had towards that individual that he gunned down? Make it make sense, people. I mean, we got to be 100%, and we got to be on point. We got to keep it 100. Should they feel that much compassion now that he's saying that he's going to church? Now, I guess you had to have a choice. You're in jail. You 18 years old. This guy was 22 when it happened. Then this guy's 20 years old. This man's life was taken for a senseless crime. And the crazy thing about it, they powered him up before. I mean, that's the crazy part about it. They powered him up before and just gave him a little in the leg, got hit in the leg or whatever. Now you come back to delete him now. Make it make
A
sense.
lot of trauma at that point.
So long ago, I tried to not remember anything from that night.
Were you remorseful as you were running back with that AR-15 in your hands?
Like I said, I try to remember nothing from that night.
Was it traumatic to you as you went back to the car with that AR-15? Was it still smoking? Was it still warm in your hands from firing it?
Sustained ejection.
Were you feeling remorse as you were getting back into the Impala?
Like I said, I just try to focus on today and move forward.
So the next day, that Impala, that was your car. You drove that around, right? It was your mom's, but you drove that car, correct?
Yes, sir, it's my mother's car.
Right. And that was the car you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in, correct? I'm working to a point, Your Honor.
Okay, why don't we just get there?
So this car, this Impala that you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in with Mr. Chance and Miss Andrews, the one that you drove in tandem with the Silver Cruise, the same car that you utilized to drive the assault team, the shooting team, which you were a part of that night. That same car that you drove around Tampa in the early morning hours for several hours, tracking, stalking, and hunting Charles Jones and his entourage.
Sustained.
That same Impala, you drove that to Polk County the next day, and you dropped it at your grandmother's house, right? The same grandmother who came in here last night and testified for you, correct?
Go ahead. You can answer that question.
Isn't that correct?
What is the question?
You dropped the Impala, the one that had all of these shooters in it, the one that was utilized in this murder, that was such a vital cog in this plan. You dropped it at your grandmother's house in Auburndale, didn't you?
I'm here to testify about today.
Are you going to answer that question, or are you going to avoid it? Because that's not what I asked that you were doing here today. I think we all understand what you're here to do today, what you're testifying about. I'm asking you specifically about your remorse. Were you remorseful when you dropped that car off and left it at your grandmother's house in Auburndale?
I did go to my grandmother's house.
Were you feeling remorse when you hugged her and got into the Forerunner and left her with the Impala after you wiped it down?
Sir, I'm just telling you that today I would like to express my remorse to
I
family.
understand what you're trying to do today. I'm asking you, since you're trying to convince this jury that you're remorseful, were you feeling remorse that next day or later that day?
I don't remember these in detail, how I was feeling, what I was thinking.
What about later that night when you went to Orlando? Were you feeling remorse when you were out partying at Club Parlay, celebrating what you'd done that day?
That was my sister's birthday party.
What did you feel any remorse while you were drinking Don Julio tequila and putting that in your video and throwing gang signs?
I'm here to testify about today, sir. I we've all seen the evidence. We've all reviewed.
Mr. Chance, it's not time for you now to make speeches. You've politely answered your counsel's questions. Can you not answer the state's questions? Is there something about my question you don't understand?
I was getting to.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gafford. I called you Mr. Chance. Excuse me.
I was getting to my answer. Like I said, I've seen all the evidence.
Well, we've all seen all the evidence.
Yes,
Right?
sir. That's true.
And after all that evidence came in, this jury based their true verdict on that, convicting you. Now you're taking accountability? Is that correct?
Sustain the objection. I think the question on the table was remorse.
It is, Your Honor.
You just need to answer that question.
So I'm going to ask you very specifically, okay? So try to focus with a laser beam here, Mr. Gafford. Were you feeling remorse when you were in Club Parlay or Orlando taking down Julio? Were you feeling remorse for what you did earlier that day?
I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking.
Were you feeling remorse when you got pulled over in the Forerunner a couple of days later by the police?
I don't remember. I was nervous. I mean, I had never been involved in any
Were you
police.
feeling remorse when you were unloading the Impala and putting all of that evidence into the Forerunner? Did you feel remorse?
I'm sorry, I told you I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking in those days.
Mr. Gaffright, you have led, you would agree with me, an extremely privileged life, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with that, correct?
I would.
You've had a loving mother, correct?
Yes, sir.
A loving sister, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've had two wonderful grandmothers, correct?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with me, right?
I couldn't deny that.
One of which, probably, I'm assuming, sacrificed and paid for you to go to that private school, that preparatory school, correct?
It wasn't paid. It was a magnet program, so I had to apply, and it was a lottery system.
It was a lottery system. Okay, so it was a magnet.
Yes, sir.
All right. She supported you going there, did she not?
Everybody did.
Gave you open use of her house, welcomed you, treated you, and parented you, basically, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Took care of you when your parents were deployed, correct?
Yes, sir. At the time, I was living with my grandmother. Both of my parents had been either retired or out of the military. I was just living there more so. I needed a change of scenery, and my relationship with my father wasn't sustainable.
Okay. This is when you're in Oxford with your grandmother.
Yes, sir.
The nice lady we saw earlier came in here.
Yes, sir.
The one that has supported you and spoke so lovingly about you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you went to this preparatory school, and whether you got in there through a lottery or not, you would agree with me, not everybody gets into a school like that, correct?
The lottery school the magnet school I went to was in middle school when I was in Jacksonville. The school I went to in Oxford was just a public high school.
A public high school.
Yes,
Okay, my mistake. So you went to that preparatory school in Jacksonville.
Yes, sir.
But again, that school was not something that every kid gets to go to, right?
No, sir.
Not every kid gets to have a counselor and a role model like Mr. Edwards, correct?
No, sir. I was very blessed.
And not many children get to fly in planes with your stepfather, correct?
No, sir.
And fly around in Asia and get to see islands off the coast of Okinawa, correct?
No, sir. I was
You
very,
go on
very
camp.
blessed.
You are very blessed, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And not every kid gets to go to Scotland, right?
No, sir.
Or Ireland,
No, sir.
or Paris,
No, sir.
or London,
No, sir.
or Spain,
No, sir.
Cape Town, or Johannesburg, or both in South Africa.
Cape Town.
Cape Town, beautiful city, right? You got to go experience that when you were growing up, correct?
I did.
Because you had such loving people around you supporting you, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, your grandmother went with you on that trip, did she not? Or not on that one, but on the ones to
Several
Europe,
trips.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And we heard you got to meet up with your sister in one of those trips, correct?
I did. I had the privilege.
So you always had someone there taking care of you, and you always had good, strong male role models, including people like your grandmother's church and your stepfather, Mr. Harrington, correct?
I had male role models in my life growing up. But in my more formative years, more so 16 to 18, I didn't. I did not have a relationship with my father, and the male role models that came and testified, they were present, but not intimately as whenever I was younger, maybe middle school years. But when I turned around 16 to 18, it was the females that actually had that caregiving and nurturing relationship with me. But
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
yes,
So,
towards the more recent years, I didn't have that one-on-one and very close relationship with those male role models in my life. You heard my stepfather say, after the divorce.
I did hear that, Mr. Chance. Let me stop you. Okay.
Make
Go
sure
back
y'all
to the
like, share, and
question.
subscribe,
I'm
get them
sorry.
thumbs up. Thank you so
I'm
much.
sorry. I keep calling you that.
Once
Mr.
again, you got these young guys.
Let me go back.
Once again, this is mother right there. Now you got these young guys that want to be gangbangers, want to do all this gangster stuff. Then they go back and incriminate themselves by making videos what they did and didn't do. But the dumbest thing he could have ever did is drove his mother car in the crime scene doing what he did. It makes no sense. Now, like I said, now he want to take responsibility, but yet he went through a whole jury trial thinking they weren't gonna find him guilty, seeing the videotapes over and over. This guy that he deleted was actually 22 years old. And he was 18 when he was doing this. Now he's 20 years old. Now the court's supposed to be so sympathetic towards him now. Make it make sense. That's why I say these young people have to start thinking before they start going off their mixed feelings and emotion and doing things and then go on social media and bragging about it.
The females, I'm assuming you're talking about your grandmothers and your mom stepped into the gap?
Yes, sir. It was grandmother's mother, sister.
So let me see if I got this right. When you were being brought up, and you were being brought up by a mother who was enlisted or an officer in the military, an officer, wasn't she?
I don't know exactly what her rank is. I know she was sergeant.
But in the Marine Corps.
Yes, sir. She was in the Marine Corps.
All right. And then you had a stepfather who was in the Air Force, right?
Yeah, he was.
From the time you were 3 all the way up to when they divorced in 2020.
Yes, sir.
All right. They taught you right from wrong, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we heard that from your grandmother,
yes,
right?
Sir, yeah. Of course, yes, sir.
Miss Lyle, she told us the same thing.
Right.
They brought you up in the church. They taught you about the 10 Commandments. They taught you about right from wrong, did they not?
They did.
All right. And they were excellent role models about living your life in a disciplined, honest, and right way, correct? And being law-abiding, correct?
They really didn't have to worry about me.
Well, let me just answer my question. Would you agree with what I'm telling you? That they were excellent role models of how to live a moral life?
Yes, sir. They definitely instilled the foundation.
May I have one moment, Your Honor? Yes. I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Be right.
Mr. Gathright, despite having what we call a blessed upbringing, you still find yourself here today, right?
Unfortunately.
Where you have lived, we heard about Mississippi, and was Jacksonville different than where you had lived previously?
Jacksonville was unlike any other city that I've lived in or visited or any other country. The cultures, the neighborhoods, the people, it's completely different.
And how old were you when you kind of started experiencing that culture shock?
So when I moved to Jacksonville, I was about 9 or 10 years old. I didn't really know much about what the streets were, quote unquote, the streets were. It was more whenever I got to high school and I wanted to leave the magnet school that I was at. I wanted to be at more of a neighborhood school to be around the people I grew up with, because at the magnet school is just 30, 45 minutes away. I, didn't really know anybody. I wasn't as close as people who I grew up with. So around high school, that's when I started hearing about, and seeing, the different things like, the drugs and people dying and you know, stuff like that. And I was caught completely off guard, but I was curious, like, what is this? You know, I'm listening to the music, like I was just like caught off guard, like I'd never experienced something like that, especially living in Japan and you know living in different states around the world. I mean, in the country, it didn't have what Jacksonville had.
And we've heard from a lot of people that knew you, and I think it's been a pretty consistent theme that you were mature and you know, smart and interested in things. But you were still what? How old around that time?
I was 14, 15. You know, I definitely would consider myself to be smart and you know mature for my age, but
Still curious?
I was still a young boy. You know, I still am a young man.
You think we're kind of impressionable?
It's definitely his life is definitely
myself
over.
as, you know, at times
Definitely
being
it's over.
naive,
He has all these
gullible,
moves now. He had
impressionable.
enough time from 18 to 20 years old now. He had really 2 years to
So
think
despite
about
that
the stupidity and the stuff he did.
Are you
That's how a lot of these guys, but sometimes
finding yourself?
they can
You know,
think
in a
about
different
this and
culture
want
now,
to do
you
right,
still want
but
to
it's too
be
late
as
now.
successful as you can?
It's too late. You done took
Yes,
somebody
so
else's baby away from you. So what
being
you
in
think
the
about
jail,
that?
you know, I'm by myself, especially in a city so far
Listen.
away. I don't know anybody, so I took this time to focus back in on myself and just get back to the basics. You know, what I know. You know, and without anybody being in my ear or influencing me, you know, I
Wow.
cut out the noise. You know, there's not
See,
many
influence.
distractions.
That's the whole
You know,
thing.
you know,
They followers. They
the same thing every
influencers.
day. So
They get influenced
I
by people
started
and
to
they start
work
being
out,
followers, and that's
you
what
know,
happened to them.
programs, try to
For being
educate
a
myself
follower.
more, plan, you know, stuff like that. I actually, everybody asks themselves, or everybody asks God for things, you know, what we want from what we want God to do for us. But a lot of times we don't ask what God wants from us. And so I've asked God that question, you know, what do you want from me? You know, I'm asking all these things from you. What do you want from me? And he told me that he's calling me. Like, I feel like my calling or what he told me was to be there for. Stop right there. Now, this right here, this track right here, this is his first day of him testifying against his own death penalty. Now, you see how I hate to say it. You see, everybody finds God when they go to jail. Everybody in them up see he ain't got no fake friends around him. He ain't got them friends that boost him on, them girls and Don Julians and the liquor and the rap music to go bust my fellow brother head, go do this, put a pill in there, drink and all that. See, he ain't got all this around. Now he's clear and sober, now he's focused. But now everything is about God. See, people don't want to hear that now. You should have thought about that. Like you said, his family had a good upbringing from his mother, his grandmother, and parents like that. But now he put himself in a position now that these clear people ain't gonna think like that, point blank. I don't care how much he try to do this, they get paid for doing their job. They got a job to do. He did what he wanted to do. He had a mission to go out here and seek and destroy this other young man's life. And their mother can't come back and visit him from jail for Kevin. Because even if he do get the death penalty, 9 times out of 10, they gonna give it to him right then and there. He gonna, you know, spend some years and years, maybe 10 years, and then maybe 15 years, and then they might do it. If not, or they might just say, hey, we don't give him the death penalty because he's young and we're gonna try to get good wavy hair and all that. The young, nice, look like he should be in college somewhere. We might give him life in jail. But see, your mother can come and see you. That boy, your mother ain't gonna be able to come and see him. Serve the youth, keep them from going down similar. Yeah, there's a positive talking, and he's talking positive. The streets is not the way. The streets are not the way.
Even having everything.
Thank you. You're right about that. The state of Florida definitely is God now.
You still can find yourself going down a wrong path, right? And you feel that that's your calling?
Yes, I went.
Objection, unresponsive.
Well, I think it's more asked than answered, but you can go ahead and answer. Yes or no? Just answer yes or no.
What was
Just what you were describing.
Yes, I do. I would like to.
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Stay away from question. Okay, Mr. Gafford.
Yes, ma'am.
But there you have it. Yo, this is the first day of trial. Is Sean taking a stand. At the end of the day, once again, man, if you got any kids, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel, or just follow it. If you got some of your kids to share this to them, please share it to each other some of these young brothers and sisters is out here doing this crazy stuff. Because also was a girl now. We're gonna go right down here real quick. It was also this is the young man that it was like it was for, but it also was a young lady. Let me see. This day one, this day two right here. This day two. But it was also a young lady. Also, she was the young lady is involved in it also, but I think they just gave her manslaughter, so she's not facing the phase of this. And this is the second guy right here, and this is the other guy right here. They got man, you gotta learn. They can't wait till and these people are not playing with it. When they say the death penalty, Florida has that. No other state have it. Florida has this. And this is the other guy. This is another co-defendant that has something to do with this guy. And like you said, Florida is their God now.
You may proceed.
Please state your name and spell.
And this is another one, young one.
My name is Michelle Smith.
Well, it was a female. She was involved, but she got manslaughter. She didn't get this penalty phase like this.
I live in Jacksonville, Florida.
How long have you been there?
Oh yeah, I'm quite sure it is. They gonna find out the hard way. It's all fun now. Look at him. He smelling like it's a joke. He facing. Wow. He smiles and all this, like smiles and giggles like it's a joke. Okay.
How do you know Isaiah?
Say you smiling when we put that juice in your arm, or put that gas, put that electric through you.
Before he became out of the womb.
And that's his mother speaking for him now.
Pregnant with it.
What's your relation to him?
My relationship with his mom?
What's your
What is it?
relationship to him?
To him, I'm his godmother.
Oh, his godmother. Okay.
How do you know his mother?
Her and my daughter was best friends, and she became part of the family.
So you've known Mr. Chance his entire life?
Wow.
Yes, I have.
These young guys, this is what they live for, don't they?
Did you babysit him when he was young?
Rap music,
Yes,
cool
I
y'all.
watched them.
The pow pows and all that. This is what they live for. They ain't ready for this part of the life.
Attend, family
It goes
events,
along with that.
Family events, celebrations, birthdays, that sort of thing.
Yes.
Once again, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to my
How
channel.
would you describe
Get them
Isaiah
thumbs
as a
up.
young
Don't
child?
cost you anything. Appreciate you. Thank you.
He was quiet.
It's
He pretty much
quiet and
stayed
sneaky,
himself.
like he is now.
He was loving.
Did you ever notice any behavioral problems with him while he was growing up?
No,
How was he with his brothers and sisters?
he was the only boy for a while, and he was protected of his sisters and his mother, but they all had a good relationship.
As he was growing up, I think at some point we discussed him getting involved in sports.
Yes, he played football for a brief moment.
Did you go to games?
Yes.
What happened with that? Did he keep up with that?
I don't think that was something that he was interested in, so no, he didn't continue to play
Interested in
football.
rap music.
What is your relationship with Isaiah like?
Well, my relationship with him I was more or less like a confidant. Like, he would call me and we would talk about anything and everything.
He would come to you with his problems?
Yes.
Would he tell you the truth?
Yes.
In all those years of confiding in you, have you ever known him to lie to you?
No, he never lied to me. That's one thing that I can, admit about him, that he would tell me the truth.
If he was wrong about something, would he tell you that?
Yes, he would.
Now, you were close to him when he was younger. Did you stay close to him through high school?
Yes, I stayed close to him throughout his whole life.
Did you ever discuss his interests and goals as he got older?
Yes, we talked about a lot of things. One of the things I know that he wanted to go to school to be a merchant seaman.
And did he achieve that?
No, he didn't, but he did work. He wanted to work, so he did work.
What kind of jobs did he do?
I know that he was doing some door dashing. He was doing Ubering, and I want to say that he worked at a warehouse.
Did he also have an interest in music?
Yes.
And what was your experience with that?
Well, he was an inspiring rapper, and he would
See, once again,
he
they
would
get into
send
this rap music stuff.
he sent me a request over on Instagram and wanted me to look at one of his videos. So
Hey,
he
Steve,
kept
they
me
say
involved,
subscribe. You just coming in
you
here.
know, with his music.
Thank you. Get the thumbs up.
You actually helped him make one of his videos?
Yes, he needed some money. He needed some money for, I guess, to finish up his video shoot. And he asked me would I send it to him, and I did.
You supported him in that?
You said what, sir?
You supported him in that?
Yes, I was. I was very supportive of him.
We also talked about his love of animals earlier. Tell us about that.
Me and my husband, Ken had some puppies, and Isaiah and his mom came over one day, and it's this one puppy. I think he was the run. I want to say he was the run of the puppies, but he kept following Isaiah around, and every time Isaiah came over, that puppy would follow him around. But me and my husband, we had decided on that we was gonna give him that puppy because he took to that puppy, and that puppy took to him.
Did Isaiah have any issues when he was born?
He was a preemie. He came early. Yes.
You were around during that time?
Yes.
As he grew up, watching him as you did you ever see any signs of abuse or trauma?
None.
What about his relationship with his mom? How was that?
The relationship that they have, every child should want to have that with their mother. They are very close.
In all the years that you were his confidant, somebody you talked to, did he ever mention anything about gang activity?
No, he never mentioned anything to me about nothing dealing with a gang.
Did he ever talk to you about friends who had been shot or killed?
No, he didn't.
Did you ever see him with a gun?
No, I never saw him with a gun.
When you would talk to him, check in on him, where would he be?
Most of the time, he would be at home at his mom's house.
Have you been following this case as it's progressed?
On and off.
When you hear what's being said about him in this case, is that the Isaiah you know?
Objection, Your Honor. Must sustain the objection.
You still love your godson?
Yes, I do.
Is there anything else you want the jury to know?
Yes. The Isaiah that I know, I don't know the Isaiah that is being portrayed. The one, like I said, that I know, I love him, and I'm gonna always love him. And he's a good boy. I don't know this side.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a moment, please, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, Ross?
Now, I want to stop this for a quick minute. I'm just kind of mute this for
You had a wonderful
a real quick second. Now, you see, they make these out to say he's a good boy, he did this, but good boys don't do the type of stuff, the type of warfare, guerrilla warfare that they put down. They had a tactic mission. They ambushed this guy so viciously. I mean, they ran at night, they was masked up, they was heavily armed. They did everything imaginable except for putting it. Now, the guys, what the stuff they did, they need to put these young men out on the battlefield. These young ones is doing this, these young guys that want to be gangbangers and rappers and all that, and do all this chaos and and hurt to another mother and another father and another family, they should put these guys like this out on that battlefield. These are the guys that need to be on that battlefield. And I don't care what nobody say. These guys, if they would have got away with it, eventually they would have did somebody else. We're gonna keep it 100. They was so far gone. They was in their early 18s, now they're in their early 20s now, 20, 21, 22 years old. And you can say the way he's sitting there, he know everybody won't give a good story about a person, but it's nothing good about this guy. I mean, I ain't gonna say people can't change, but there's nothing good about this individual right here.
Okay, again, I would ask the media not to broadcast the identity of this witness.
But they said this is the last witness for Isaiah Chance.
Thank you. No, none of them. No good boy, like you said, no good boy don't sit there with these type of charges like it's all good. He got flames all up his neck. I don't know if it's bird feathers or whatever. And that's a painful area to get some tattoos in. And these guys wearing all that, all of a sudden now they want them to wear these turtlenecks to cover that garbage up, man. Front line, like you said, it should be front and center. Oh, they definitely are. You right about that. Black, you definitely right about that.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this class will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
To be honest, why he trying to get so much of a character witness for him, and everybody know his character. He showed his character from the videos. I don't care how long ago it happened, he did it.
Victoria Gray.
How are you related to Isaiah Chance?
I'm Isaiah's mother.
How old is Isaiah?
It don't matter who he did it. They did one thing about it. They should have had him in the same situation. They should have made sure they brought him to justice just like this. That's what the justice.
I
Let
know
me
him
stop real
because
quick.
I've been.
This is what the justice system are made for. See, one thing about we all talking about the eye for an eye and the tooth for a tooth. That's how we look at it. We in this black community, and this up there. I'm black myself. I'm a black man. I've been there. I've been away for 13 and a half years. Folks think it's dumb. Just like somebody in there made this little goofy comment about he killed this brother. But okay, you killed this brother, you kill him. Now it's time for these. Now what you gonna say about this prosecutor? You gonna say this prosecutor killed him too now? Now you think he gonna go to jail? He's not gonna do it. He's doing it the legal way. He deleting you legally. We go out there and going off our mixed feelings and emotions. Oh, right, he killed such and such. Let me go back and get some get back. Now my brother's gone. He don't know nothing about what I did. Now I'm gone, and another person. Now, if you got anything to lose, you lost everything. Now, but if you're a type of person that ain't got nothing to lose, yeah, go crash out. They ain't got nothing, because you know what? They don't get paid for demise you. And just like I said, you're going to be another person and use your body part. Oh, yeah, we need a leg. Such and such needs a new heart and lungs. We're going to pull this out of this heart now. We can get all this stuff for free now. Make it make sense, man. And stop thinking dumb, whoever you are. And that's real talk.
He's my second oldest. He is he's very I can't even say the word. His social intelligence.
Socially intelligent, really?
Usually attracts people.
Really?
He is one that is very well reserved.
He gonna be reserved, all right. Very well.
Kind of always say himself. He does engages himself into philosophy, politics.
Let me take your goofy ass on my live. That's what I'm gonna do for you.
He did start strategizing on making sure that he managed and operates a business plans, which is where we left off. He was trying to create his businesses, and pretty much, and he is a father who he loves his children as well and his family.
Did he live in Jacksonville his entire life?
Yes.
Get your ass out here too. Bye.
In his formative years being raised?
Yes.
How many brothers and sisters does he have?
Get your ass out here too.
It's 4 girls
like
and 2
that.
boys.
Did they live with him for
Yes.
How would you describe him as he was growing up in elementary?
I don't care who he is. It ain't about selling my
He had
kind
a
out.
normal
Right is right and wrong
upbringing.
is wrong. I ain't
Never
got time
really
to
had
play with
any
these
issues
clowns in
with
here.
him.
Talk that to somebody else's live.
Is he
Sounds
gentle?
stupid.
He was reserved, very quiet, didn't really ask for much.
Was he violent as a child?
No.
Did he play any sports when he was young?
He did play sports when he was younger, but I did find out that what I placed him in was not his interest, and I later
AI is changing everything.
Like justifying nothing. They get every bit. They getting everything they deserve.
into it was
Every last one of them. I don't care. The girl should have been the same way.
yes.
What happened?
He up there smiling. You think that other brother got the chance to smile and all that?
At once upon a
He's
time,
smiling,
we were
laughing
in
like
the
it's a
middle of the
joke.
game.
Wow.
Isaiah did not want. I guess he just decided he didn't want to do it. So in the middle of the play, he walked off the field.
He could have done
So
that
of
one
course
other
the
time
coaches
too.
and everybody's
Get
like,
your ass out here too. Have your own opinion. Get your ass out here too. Bye.
Was he helpful around the home?
he was very helpful. I do consider Isaiah to be my do-it-yourself type guy. Single mom. Generally when it comes to hanging, being the man, if my garage is broken, I look to him to help me. I am not a DIY person.
What about how was he with his brothers and sisters?
Overall, again, Isaiah has always been to
That's what I'm
himself.
emotional too.
He does come out and engages with family activity.
Thanks for the thumbs up. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you.
He come out and talk and he goes back into
this
his
for grown and mature audience only.
And he enjoys reading. So he spent a lot of time reading.
Did he ever help his siblings, help them train or help them with their sports or their schoolwork or anything like that?
Well, coming up, my kids, we were exposed to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we would all, as a family, when you say train,
just help them get ready for anything.
I wouldn't say he would help them train, but we as a family, collectively, we all kind of work together.
Get your ass out here too.
Did you notice anything talking about school early on with Isaiah, any issues he was having?
Early on, maybe in elementary stages, again, because Isaiah was always quiet.
Another black brother, that's what he needed. Another person looked just like him. That's what he needed.
Something was going on, so
I had no sympathy for that.
Reach out and try to get help, but by the time we got to speech therapy, come to find out he just chose not to talk.
What about throughout his school? Do you have other meetings with the school about Isaiah's progress?
When you say school, because he was in private school for majority part of his life, and then he went to public school. So which?
Either one, but let's start with public school. Did he have any issues with Duval County public schools?
Issues at Duval County.
Drugs, not killing no brothers. That's what I went for. Drugs, not killing nobody.
Just more of Isaiah, I guess, trying to understand something that it wasn't, he didn't catch on right then. The way his mind or his brain processes things, I'll say it that way.
And he did graduate from high school though.
Yes.
Did he start working after that?
Yes.
Where was he working?
He's had many jobs. He worked at Jacksport. He did Uber Eats sometimes. I do believe it was Instacart.
What the drugs do the drugs the doctors give to you every day do to you? If that's the question you ask, what the same drugs that what the doctors give to you every day
with
that
the temp agency, because he doesn't really have much experience coming from high school.
Did he have goals about what he wanted for a career?
Yes, he was actually in the
I'm very
process
transparent.
of becoming emergency.
I was making money. I wasn't going out there
emergency
deleting people.
He already had
I
his
didn't
twin
force people to
badge.
take
So
anything
the
that they
process
didn't want
what
to
we
take.
left off was he had to test, which required some additional
But
testing.
power
that they
pound
needed to
somebody is
do.
a whole different level.
We had to get scheduled.
Just
It was
because they
something
stepped
with
on
the
your
schedules
shoes
we
or
couldn't
made some rap lyrics
get
about you.
aligned.
Come
So
on,
that's
man,
what
make
we
it
had
make
left off
sense.
with that.
Sense is dumb.
Prior to this case, did you ever know Isaiah to be
Thank
been
you.
arrested?
No.
Doctors definitely should be. You're right about that.
Mentioned earlier that he has,
100. See,
church
then this
members
is
of
more.
his-
This is more the mature type of audience that you need to have up here speaking
Capri,
something that makes
Kyron,
sense.
and
All that
Ice.
other stuff that everybody else just talked a couple of minutes ago sounds stupid and dumb.
From what I've seen, very hands-on. Love, I got a chance to see him different because he's my son, so his love for me was kind of different for his children. So I did get a chance to see him interact. He was there.
We've heard witnesses describe his relationship with you as you being his heart. Do you have a special relationship with Isaiah?
I love all my children.
Of course. Okay. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you would like to share?
I want to hear from him. What? You don't need all these character witnesses. We already seen their character.
I mean,
They
as
was
far as his upbringing, it was a normal
their
child.
character's being a predator. There wasn't no ifs and buts. If you seen the
Believe
video of
that
this guy,
we're-
Fulio,
as
did
we
they
start engaging into
did they
the
mess with? They did
adulthood,
this guy too.
Isaiah did
They was
express
predators. They was
towards the
never
time,
nothing like how
he had
these
quite a
people
few
explain these people are. They was
different
strictly predators,
areas where he
hunters,
wanted
as you want to
to
call it.
engage in. He was trying to decipher if he wanted to be an entrepreneur, if he wanted to just open up a business and do this. So he did come up with a business that he decided to stick with, which Isaiah believes that he wanted to, part of one of his businesses, he wanted to open up this community to give back to people who has lost hope. And I do recall that in Jonah, the word was sent a second time. So how Isaiah developed this plan as a businessman, he wanted to just make sure that people know that there is hope.
I assume I know the answer to this, but you plan to keep a lot of contact with Isaiah when he's in prison, correct?
That's correct.
That's all I have.
Okay, Cross? Yes, Sean.
Ms. Gray, when Isaiah was in school, he was never diagnosed with any sort of mental health disability, is that correct?
That's correct.
And during the time he was in school, he actually graduated with a high school diploma, is that correct?
Anybody else let me know.
And you just described him that he attracts people, he has this social intelligence, is that correct?
That's correct.
Charming, perceptive personality.
That's correct.
And that he is also very smart, is that correct?
I don't know what your definition of very smart, because we all weigh things different.
Okay. Did you say that he was very industrious and was strategizing and had the ability to come up with a business plan?
I said we were strategizing. Well, we talked about mainly one.
Okay. And which one was that? The one where he is giving back, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. He also aspired and was going to be a merchant marine.
Correct.
And he had done a lot to progress and to be able to do that. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Yes.
And you also have said that he is your do-it-yourself person. Anytime you needed something fixed, he was there to help you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And he's the one, if you needed something installed like a smart TV, he was the one that would be able to do that.
That's correct.
So he does have skills that he was able to utilize and complete tasks for you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
These were things that you would have difficulty doing yourself, right? Installing the smart TV is not something that you found easy. Is that true, ma'am?
Yes.
And you relied upon him to be able to set all of that soft, creamy texture.
I don't know why they feed these people all these lies. Cause you see him smiling and
If
smirking
he's
and all
not
that.
available, then I
He's
will,
nothing
of
like
course,
what they
get
tell
someone
him.
to come to him.
But my point is, he could do it. Isn't that true, ma'am?
That's correct.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, we're good, redirect? Okay, now this one is be excused. Okay, thank you, ma'am, you're free to go.
I think that's the end of the presentation for Isaiah.
This time.
I want to hear what Isaiah got to say.
Okay.
With his made in China suit on.
Oh, they gotta ask if he wants to
Okay,
testify.
Let's just go ahead, we'll take a quick afternoon recess, so if you all could just step outside for a few moments.
All right.
They've gotta ask if Isaiah Chance wants to testify or not.
He think it's a joke. He all smiles and giggles. Look at that. And somebody's supposed to take this guy serious? Come on, man. How can you take a guy like this serious? He's facing the death penalty, and he's smiling in court like it's all good.
Okay, very good.
Fulio, the graph
Okay,
is
so
supposed to
Mr.
be.
Chance, everyone have a seat. This is the part of the trial, or this phase of the trial, where you have to make the decision whether or not you wish to testify or remain silent. Again, do you realize that this decision is solely yours to make? Do you understand that? Okay, and have you made a decision whether or not you wish to testify or
It's just my
remain
personal
silent?
opinion. I don't think he got no change in him. I think he just so far gone out the way he acting. It don't show no
What
remorse
is your
for
decision?
me.
Do you wish
That's
to
me.
testify
Personal.
or not? Okay. And has anyone, including your attorneys, in any way
He knew
pressured
better.
you, threatened you, or coerced you in any way to make this decision? And
Yeah,
has
they did
anyone
found him
made you
guilty.
any assurances regarding?
They found him guilty already. What they doing now, this is the death penalty phase right here. This is the death penalty phase that they're going through. This is the fourth one right here. They was charged in the death of a rapper, Julio Fulio. So this is one of the guys with the girlfriend that was involved in this. But she didn't face this because I think she pleaded guilty to manslaughter or something like this because she wasn't the one actually, but she was the one in the getaway car.
What the outcome of this penalty phase will be. And you realize no one can, because no one can predict the future, correct? Okay, all right, very good. Okay, so we come back in, you'll rest, and then, Ms. Toomey, you're ready to go? Okay, and then how many witnesses do you have this afternoon?
I have, Dr. Eisenstein, that's going to testify today, so that's all I have.
Okay. Well, it's just.
See that guy in the brown suit, he's also one of the defendants also. He's one of the defendants
Right, that's
also.
fine. So let's take a quick 10-minute comfort break. We'll come back.
Hi, Jane, how you doing? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate you.
All right, so they are actually gonna take
Exactly. They definitely
a whole court break. I wonder what it would have been like having Isaiah on the stand.
Yeah. He getting
'Cause I
everybody
don't
to
think
talk
I've
for
really
him.
heard him
He
speak
didn't.
in this trial before.
He didn't speak at all. He didn't speak.
Scenario when it's a no penalty phase, it's just
Now let me go back to this first guy, this first one, and let me go right back to this guy. Once again, this was the guy that let me see, this phase 2. I think this is still the one I was just at. Let me see. Let me try to make sure. It was the first one I'm still at, but at the end of the day, the first one